God damn it, I can't believe I got my ass kicked by a bunch of teenagers. Not only that, but they managed to get 2 more shadow crystals. And now I only have 1 left. So I have to make sure that I give it to someone that not only wants freedom from the suffering, but also is incredibly tough.
Sans, I want freedom from my suffering of being lonely.
Huh?
Don't worry, bro. I met this lady a while ago. She has an emo kid and they seem pretty nice from what I've heard from them and their mom.
An emo kid? I don't know much about emos, but I assume they like biceps because I, the great Papyrus, will show my soon-to-be new friend how incredibly strong I am.
Incredibly strong, check. Wants freedom from his suffering, check. Okay, he's perfect.
Well, don't worry, Pappy. Just make sure not to upset them or they might get emotional.
Really, Sans? That's the worst pun I've ever heard.
What? It was pretty good. And besides, it got you to smile.
What? No, I'm just smiling because of how foolish it was. It really made you look like a real bonehead. See? Now that's how you make a pun. Nah, Papyrus out.
Yeah, it is pretty funny too. Alright, let's get started then.
Papyrus, the funny skeleton man from Undertale, the guy who sounds like autistic Skeletor, and the character that Toby Fox likes to tease us with.
You can't keep getting away with it! You can't keep getting away with it!
Yeah, despite the fact that we have half the game finished, we're still yet to see him in Deltarune. He's most likely gonna show up at chapter 5 since it's gonna be the festival, and I highly doubt that Sans would be cruel enough to not bring his brother over during a public holiday. And due to how much he has been teased, it's pretty safe to assume that he's gonna play an important role in the story. And if you couldn't guess by the title of the video, I believe that he's gonna be chapter 5's secret boss / shadow crystal holder. But before I get started, I just want to be clear that this video was inspired by a fan-made Papyrus boss theme by a clever composer, and because I found the idea of Papyrus being a boss really cool, I thought, yeah, it would be pretty cool to make a theory about it. The song itself is pretty good too. I recommend watching it after this video. I'll have the link via a pinned comment with a URL. Anyway, with that said, let's begin with the theory of why Papyrus might be chapter 5's secret boss fight. The first piece of evidence for this theory is surprisingly yet another theory. Yeah, I know it's pretty much the equivalent of answering a question with a question, but please stick with me, okay? So the theory that supports my theory is that Deltarune is Undertale backwards theory. As you can guess by this name, the theory suggests that the events of Deltarune mirrors the events of Undertale in reverse. And so far there hasn't been anything that retconned this theory so far, so I'm still gonna be using it as a reference for my theory. I'm gonna give you a quick rundown on the evidence that supports the backwards Undertale theory. Chapter 1 mirrors New Home because we face a king in a mostly monochromatic kingdom. Chapter 2 mirrors Core because we're traveling through a blue tech based area, and in both games' respective Evo routes, we face a robot with the power of Neo, and also the yellow soul makes its appearance as well in both scenarios. Chapter 3 mirrors Hotland because in both games the player has to deal with a mad TV host in a mostly red area while also playing various minigames. And I know what you're thinking, but the purple soul doesn't appear in chapter 3, and to that I say, let's just ignore it. Chapter 4 mirrors Waterfall due to both scenarios taking place in blue areas with ethereal music playing in the background, both being halfway points of both respective games. The appearance of Gerson and the appearance of the Green Soul mode. So using this logic, it's safe to assume that chapter 5 will have the Blue Soul mode due to each secret boss matching with the descending order of each soul mode. Jewel had Red Soul because Asgard's fight doesn't have a unique soul mode, Spamtania had the yellow soul mode because we used the same soul mode to defeat Metaton in Undertale. Rodeo Knight probably didn't introduce any unique soul mode since it's very different from most of the secret bosses we fought so far. And Gessen introduced Green Soul because he most likely taught Undyne that soul mode in Undertale, which also leads me to my next point, the uniqueness of the Blue Soul. If you ever played Undertale, which if you didn't, why are you watching this video? Unless you're just here to listen to my handsome voice. Yeah, if you played the game, you probably know that specific monsters are able to change their soul color in boss fights. And the same soul colors appear in Deltarune as well. Except she who will not be named, but each soul mode had a reason to come back for lore reasons. In Spamtania's boss fight, our soul changes yellow because we ourselves were able to change our soul yellow in Undertale when going up against Metaton in his EX form. So it's just a thing our soul does, I guess. And the green soul mode was used in Gersen's fight since he most likely taught Undyne the green soul mode in Undertale, since it's heavily implied that Gersen was a mentor for Undyne at some point, or was her inspiration for what kind of hero she wanted to become, so it would make sense for him to know it. But with the blue soul mode, the only characters so far which we know are tied to it is Papyrus and Sans, and probably Winggaster because he has a connection with the Skiller Bros, which is like, dude, you're already a master of space, time, reality, and soul magic, and now you're telling me you want to master gravity? What are you, Thanos? But yeah, I know what you're thinking. The same logic could also apply to Sans since he can also use the blue soul mode as well. But I'm pretty sure he might be more important to the main story of the chapter since the Asgore prophecy panel is talking about jealousy, which implies that Asgore might mistake Sans and Toriel hanging out together as them being romantically interested in each other, thus giving a reason for him to open a dark world. But yeah, that would leave Papyrus as the only blue soul user to take the role of the secret boss of chapter 5. And if you still don't think that this still doesn't prove Papyrus will be a secret boss, well, I have another piece of evidence for you. The guest list. A YouTuber by the name of Noha made a theory that states that all the Lightner names you can put in the Gonna Maker sequence of chapter 1 are actually the names of Lightners who will appear in a dark world regardless of their importance to the narrative. And so far the theory checks out as some of the characters on the list had already been in a dark world before. Chris, Susie and Noel as party members, Bedley as a mini-boss, Toriel and Undyne appearing at chapter 3 for a few seconds, and hell, even Gersen is on the list since he came back as a Dark Knight in chapter 4. And since we know Sans and Asgore, who are also list members, are going to play an important role, it's safe to assume Papyrus, who's also on the list, will play an important role too. And my last piece of evidence for this theory is yet another theory by yet another YouTuber who really deserves more subscribers. I recently watched this video by Gold Pro where he pointed out that we might get the strongest scarf Rousey can equip in chapter 5's secret boss fight, since chapter 3 and 4's secret bosses only gave weapons in their boss fights, unlike Jevil and Spamton who give either a weapon or armor depending on if you spare them or not. And the weapons that 3 and 4's secret bosses just so happen to drop is the strongest weapons for Chris and Susie so far, the Black Shot and the Justice Axe respectively. So there's a chance that Rousey will get a powerful scarf in chapter 5's secret boss fight. And you know who is known for wearing scarves? Papyrus. Yep, that's right, it fits so perfectly. I can just see the funny dialogue between Papyrus and Rousey right now.
Wow, you're quite tough, Mini Asgore. You would make an exceptional god for the Flower Kingdom.
Thanks Papyrus, but my name's actually Raul.
Yeah, take my scarf as a symbol of our friendship.
Huh? I can't take this, it's yours.
Don't be shy, Mini Asgore. After all, friends always give each other gifts. And besides, I have another scarf under this one.
Wait, why are you wearing another scarf under your scarf? so that I can give it to a new friend I make, obviously. Whatever. But yeah, now that I answered the question why Papyrus is chapter 5 secret boss, I will now answer the question what importance he will have in the chapter as a secret boss. Since chapter 5 will only release next year and Tobias Fox showed us to always expect the unexpected, this part of the video will enter fanfic territory. So with that said, this is what I think will happen with Papyrus in chapter 5. I think he'll act the same as Gerson or Spamton to appear at some parts of the story before you can actually fight him in a secret boss area. He will probably hang out with Asgore and ask him if he can become a royal guard for him, since Papyrus yearns for the popularity of having a high status that can give him friends. Asgore and the Darkness that are with him will probably just be confused, but will just let him do his own thing. He'll probably just make traps and puzzles just like how he does in Undertale for the main story of the chapter, but if he decides to explore a bit, he will discover that Papyrus has a shadow crystal, but he wasn't tempted by its power. The reason why I think Papyrus won't be affected by the shadow crystal is one, he'll probably notice the ominous energy from it, so he'll instantly tell it's not safe and hide it away from everyone else. And the reason why you have to fight him for it is because Papyrus doesn't want the Swear Squad to get hurt or be tempted by it. Or two, he'll see the light world and remembers the sad reality of the light world's problems, and doesn't want Asgore or any other Lightner to be reminded of that truth. But either way, I have a feeling that it might be a 1v1 between Rouse and Papyrus, due to it being a battle between Scarf Boys, and also because chapter 5 may be a major character arc for our favorite Fluffy Boy. And who knows, maybe Papyrus might cheer him up from his pain of knowing the prophecy. After all, Papyrus has a thing for cheering up depressed guys. But we'll just have to wait and see. Thanks for watching this video, leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and follow me on Instagram where I go by Hero the GigaChad, and on TikTok where I go by Facts of Hero. Anyway, later nerds.